All right, so I guess we're on the record. It is 1:27. 1:27 PM, Friday, April 21st. We're here for contract negotiation between the city of Laredo and the fire union. Right now, the city of Laredo has a packet proposal with regard to some of the economic articles. And I guess we'll start the presentation first with the costing out of the last proposal that was given by the union to the city of Laredo with regard to contract increases and contributions from the city to the pension.
So I believe we're moving forward. Yesterday, we came up with, a structure to a comprehensive plan to proposal, right? And we all came back to fill that, and now we're trying to right fit it. So based on that, with your numbers yesterday from the 5.4, that was your average of the other cities. We get that, then 3.3. Unfortunately, it
Is
just
that a
adds
5-year
up.
contract?
Well,
Are you proposing a 5-year?
No, this is your proposal.
It was a
I was
4.
supposed to buy
It was a
333.
well, the 5.4, that was for 2022, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
20.
that's kind of, it's like a
It's a
half,
full.
it's a half
It's a
year,
full.
so instead of saying 0, we just counted that as a year, even though it's
Yeah.
not a full year, but we get it, we can always cut one off. But that's why, because it's not, we're looking at 4 full years plus that half year,
Fine.
but we can, extend it, shorten it, what have you, yeah, it's not a problem. But
I just, you throw the number up and it already adds $10 million.
so 35, 25,
You gotta cut off the 5th year, right?
Yeah.
Add up all those to compounding, or whatever the math we're calling is. So, just the sheer number you put up on screen.
yeah, it's at 11 million, right?
Okay.
There you go,
fine.
that
That's all right.
that column, if you,
32 million.
Take it off.
we're asking. Got it.
35.
That's 32 on the side.
Yeah, there's 5 on the bottom with pensions.
Yeah, after the
Oh,
pension
okay.
contribution.
All right, I thought we were talking, what, doesn't matter.
the pension is 2.65, right?
We
That's
can move forward.
the package.
5 years, got it.
Go down.
No, it's not. Oh, there's a little lag, sorry about that. Okay, now it's the next one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's costing out basically what your request was.
Yeah, so it's costing out your request. This,
You don't- I mean, if
this
you
is the
want to
amount.
do it, you can.
okay, this is the amount, and you have it, the printout, right? So
Mhm.
these are some big raises over the years.
What was
But
it?
that was without ad pay or overtime, but we include ad pays. That's,
And we
It's just-
threw in 2021 for what reason? Just
that's actually 2022, sorry. that should be
No,
2022.
Starting point, that's the starting point.
That was the last, that was
Sorry.
the last increase, sir. Yeah.
The increase
sorry.
are based from the last amount, which is the starting points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's where we started, so.
Mhm.
All right, so this is with ad pays, which gets to our issue of trying to get a handle on those going forward.
Mhm.
So this is the city's counter today.
Mhm.
Right. The 2,200 flat fee, and we're only based off of 391 FTEs, even though you didn't have 407, right? But just
Right.
to be fair, that's, and be conservative in our numbers. It's 391, and we're starting with a 2,200 flat fee. A lump sum payment for this half year, which actually benefits you guys, because it's supposed to get a percentage and only getting that for half a year. You're getting this flat fee across the board.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there anybody that can check to see that the slides are scrolling? Because yesterday the slides, it stayed on the first slide and it never went through any of the other slides. So
It should be sharing. It says, I mean, we're only limited to what.
I just didn't know if they could check to see what's being broadcast. I'm sorry. It just,
No,
we have people watching and we reviewed it yesterday and it was one slide the entire.
Okay.
They tell me that they are, somebody just.
Oh, they did? Okay, thank you. I appreciate, I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
I appreciate it.
What's the name?
Yeah, I think they are, okay. Okay, so. And we're going 222, and then pension contribution at 1.25. We're getting to that 14.6 now, right? Of course, this is. To be go board, this is going to the 2026. You all talking about 4 years, I was looking at 5. I'm looking 4 full years plus this Last year.
This current year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So. That's I think y'all appreciate that, that's a sizable jump from what we talked about and been going through. Again, this shows the increases across the range of firefighters with no OT, no ad pays.
Can you go back?
Yeah. This or the next one, or previous one.
That one? That-
Any questions, David? Are you-
So you're proposing 2,200 May 1st and a raise not until next October, a year and a half.
or No,
No,
this October coming up.
It says 10/1/2024. I'm just asking because that's what it says.
A flat rate for 2023.
But yes, and then.
Yeah, but
until
I guess-
October
The 2% is on
2024.
2024.
Okay,
So a
so-
year and a half.
So it skips it.
I'm just trying
The
to.
slides off. right?
The slides off.
I
So,
apologize.
so I guess just so we can verbalize it, this year would be, for the remaining of the year, it'd be $2,200 and really that's just a calculation of $1.1 million that 2% would be, and it's distributed evenly through your membership, okay? And then starting October 1st of this year, that's when you get 2%.
Typo in the year.
There's a typo.
It's type one every year, so it should be 23, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So it would be a flat rate now, but then 2% for the next 4 years,
Starting October.
starting October 1st.
Okay, so then is the cost number wrong?
No, it's just.
No,
it's just-
the only typos in the first year should be 5.
Which is
For example, the next month, 23.
Yeah, it's just, it puts it to 27. So
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
No, that's a good catch.
Okay, and this would be with the ad case. And the numbers are fine. It's obviously those dates are gonna be off like the other slide.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's how much it would be with the ad case. And you all have it there. So you want to go to the next slide?
Sure.
Unless you had a question, Tony?
Do you have a question?
No,
You're just putting up the values.
so it's just it's a 4-year contract.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what,
It's a 5-year contract started
Yeah.
last year.
yes,
Starting current year.
Yeah.
So this is our current year.
I'm sorry.
and I think we've done that in other contracts where we don't leave like a year behind. That way, when you look, you see that there's contingency, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
But in reality, we have 4.5 years remaining.
And so 4 full years.
Yeah.
We're-
The last contract ended in 9/12. and then it
It's
starts-
current year plus future years.
So,
or
Yes,
future years.
for future years.
Okay, right. Yeah, but with the ad pays, as you'll see, we're proposing not touching the ad pays for current membership. Again, with the 1.25, we're just asking for one citizen board member is independent of both sides. One with financial background, regardless of affiliation with one side or the other, or, if we have 2 citizen non-members, that's fine. Just the idea is just have a different voice, different stakeholder, separate from our 2 sides. Okay, this is just a different way of looking at it, because we want to be able to speak on the same terms. We're looking at total amounts before with compounding. Here, you're looking at only additional money, then that's where the additional monies come in. Okay, this is your request. Yeah, go ahead, take your time. This is your request, and this is our proposal, that's all. And if you want me to go back, it's fine. It's been
You
since-
subtract that 2 million from there, so we can see
2 million?
compared to yours,
What did you mean, sir?
1.962 on the last year, the fifth year contract that we didn't propose.
Along with the pension?
No, you did
subtract that too?
propose it.
We didn't,
Okay,
No.
we proposed a
You did.
4-year
You did
contract.
propose a 4-year.
You added additional.
Yeah.
We did, if you're gonna take anything out, you take it out where it says from 2022 at 1.3. If you don't want it, we're good with it.
But you take it up to 1.3 for all 5 years, because it's the first year.
No, well, no.
Compounded
What I'm
on.
understanding, yes, no, but what I'm understanding is, you only want to do 4 years, is what you're saying?
I'm just,
Our proposal.
we propose one thing and you're
But-
putting numbers up there,
Okay, so it's
and so
something that you all
you're
have to
proposing it to the
say.
public, and then you're gonna say, look, they're asking for this, that's not what we asked for, but
So the
again.
current,
Okay, that's-
Go ahead.
yes,
Go ahead.
Guys, take it out.
No, it's fine, it's okay,
Take it
it's
out.
fine. It's fine.
It's not compounded, actually, just.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's fine,
No, no,
it's
just-
fine, it's fine.
So just to answer your question, like the previous slide, you said take out that last column, it'll be like $11 million, and here.
It's the first.
It's the first column that we're taking out because it's fixed.
It's the first column all the way across.
No, it's not all the way across because. we
Just down.
told you a
We'll let them
full
get through their presentation and we'll discuss it.
May I tell you something?
Sure.
That 2023 is one full fixed amount. So it's not compounded. So if you want to, it's as simple as taking 2022, the 1.3 out. And that's it. That's all that changes.
One question to clarify, David, if I may.
Yeah.
The proposal you made yesterday was year one, 5.4.
Mhm.
Year one for you was 10-1 of 23.
No,
It
24.
was June of this year, what we have. And our proposal that we had given to you previous, when we did the slideshow.
yeah, you would have.
It started in the middle of the summer, so
Yes,
that's,
Okay,
so that's what we were always talking about that.
But it's okay, we don't have to, we don't need any reason. That's-
No,
we can move
I'm trying to understand
We're trying- yeah.
clarification to be able to cost it out the way you presented. So the first one would be, let's say, I just put up there 5-1 because I didn't know the date. So if you're saying June, it would be 6-1.
6/1/23.
Okay,
Okay,
so that's
awesome. So you take the first one, and then the next contract
It's a full
increase would be in 10-1, which is
a full year.
5 months after that. And that one would be for the full year, moving forward after that. I think the only thing is you weren't going all the way to 26, you were going to 25.
Mhm.
Okay, so then you would take out the last column if you were proposing a 4-year. Gotcha.
Like a 10.
I
Like a
I
10
didn't
million.
understand that, so I can adjust it.
And Mr. Gonzalez, if there's issues with the costing out,
Mhm.
no, and that's fine, like, that's why, that's why we're here.
And that's what
'Cause
you're
I think,
saying, it would take out. the
How about
one-
this? Sorry, how about this? We're gonna caucus, so we'll adjust these two slides and publish them when we get back.
It's just, so,
That way,
so it's been up already.
Yeah.
Whoever's watching it, watched it, whoever took a snapshot, or whatever it is, you posted, we're asking for 32 million, and I'm sure that's what's gonna come out, we're asking for 32 million. It's just funny how over and over again, somehow we mislead the public, somehow we're not giving the right figures, and even when we
David,
think we're.
all we need to do
Go
is
ahead.
take one out.
Yeah, we'll do it at the break.
If that's what you want.
Yeah, we'll do it at the break and then we'll.
I think what
we'll-
we also could have done was, we could have looked at the proposal that we gave you all. There were clearly what we outlined for y'all that met you all's original constraints of what y'all are willing to work with. And we still came to be just sweeping it under the rug over and over again for your proposal, for your 5-year, for your 3-year, for your, it's over and over and over again. We come to you with the constraints and the restrictions and in good faith to come to you with a proposal, clear as day. And then we come here with, we have wrong dates. Okay, well, we were thinking that you all thought this, and there was never any back and forth or clarification. It's the same game over and over and over again.
And
It's
so
stalling.
that, you know, we went back, we did the homework assignment, hey, let's work together. By all means, we came to the table, bargaining in good faith, trying to reach an agreement, you know, you say, let's do a homework assignment. Okay, let's do a homework assignment. We went back, we worked on it, right? We went back to our hall, we went back to our place, did what you asked, what you were requesting, and that's fine. It's okay. That's what I'm saying, that's fine. Give your
Can
presentation.
you
that's fine.
clarify the 100%?
it was the goals, I understand.
I know.
And look,
And then look, and I have no issue with it. If both parties are trying to work out an agreement. But it doesn't seem like that side's trying to work out an agreement, or it doesn't seem like we've mentioned this since the get-go. What does chapter 174 say? It's bargain in good faith, try to reach an agreement. So when we make a proposal and then you just constantly, what is it, pay cuts or whatever it is, and really, and then when you're asked, what's the reasoning? Oh, I'm sure there's some reasoning.
I
And
was gonna
really,
explain the
Mr.
reason, but you all left.
Mr.
You asked-
you weren't,
Someone
but-
asked. what's
You
the
weren't
reason?
gonna
Yes,
explain
yes,
it,
the reason.
but,
You all walked out. So-
No, you mentioned even with the pension, it's not my pension,
Mr.
and then at the end of the day, the reality is. We're all trying to be, or trying to get the pension to a certain system, but
David,
but it's okay.
but David,
Mr. Gonzalez.
let's come down.
Yeah,
Wait.
What?
I want you all to know that we came today with a good proposal.
Mm.
We wanted to let you all know where you were, not to say, oh, in your face, 30, whatever, no. This is what you gave us, right? And
What
so
changed from yesterday's proposal? I guess circumstances.
No.
you know what you gave,
Circumstances change.
what you
Which
gave
number
to
that-
us.
Oh, that was mentioned in the past.
The numbers you gave to us. right? You gave us a $35 million package and we're saying,
It wasn't 35.
No, man.
Well.
We're 25, whatever, I mean,
Well,
we'll
so-
fix the numbers and you'll see the real numbers.
That's my point
That's
right
it.
there.
We'll fix it right there.
That's my point.
And Mr. Gonzalez,
All you're gonna do, yesterday you presented a slideshow that only left a misconstrued pie chart that added fire trucks apparently in there when the fire trucks aren't purchased out of that fund, and you left it up there. But we're the ones misleading the public. And this is our point. Yesterday, the slide, somehow IT doesn't work, and today, look at it, it's working perfect.
are you?
And it happens,
Mr.
it happens.
Mr.
The
Gonzalez,
slide was up there, right? And you're saying that we're misleading the public. We're trying to meet to go over these numbers and no,
Mr.
man,
Gonzalez,
yes or no?
I even stopped it and said, guys, the slides aren't going through, can we?
So you
start again?"
added the purchase of fire trucks in that pie chart and the
No.
fire trucks aren't purchased in
No,
there.
that's, the pie chart's my mistake.
No, it's
That's my
fine,
mistake.
but that, and this is what John Eric is alluding to.
The pie chart didn't have the numbers, the note just
Yeah.
referred to.
It's just a no, not the
Yeah.
pie
And one of
chart.
the
Right,
reasons that. one
so
of
you
the
make it
reasons-
seem like
Yeah, but one of the
that was the
reasons- one of the
entire budget
reasons-
for the fire department.
One of the reasons that the trucks are in there is because every time we sell COs, we have to take money from operations. So it moves money from operations from the debt service
Mhm.
and the CO. So there is an impact, even though it's a CO. So he just mentioned in there, any savings that we're trying to do is because we're trying to
No.
buy this other things.
As an example, I'm just gonna give you something that does come directly in their operations. The
Mhm.
chief meets, I think, 2 or 3 remarks on ambulances.
Ms. Cabell,
Those are operations,
I think we just need to clarify something,
yes.
because
please, if I may.
And I worked some of the numbers, I worked most of the numbers that are the costing and in our last meeting, and let me tell you, I'm not trying to confuse anybody. In the last meeting, the numbers that you gave us back
Mhm.
were in writing. So I worked, we only had 4 hours to come up and kind of cost out. You even
last
asked, you all mentioned in your
Which last
packet.
meeting?
yesterday.
Yesterday,
So we gave it to you in writing.
Well, you told me, says I wrote it down.
He
No,
wrote it
I'm just
to us.
trying to, I don't know if this meeting, I'm only asking because we only gave you something in writing
Well,
meetings ago and.
No, this,
I want to know what numbers we're talking about.
the last meeting, yesterday,
Okay.
when you left and you came back and you said, we're asking for 5.4, 3, and 3. He wrote them down. He wrote them down like 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
because we were getting it from you. If this was done within the last couple of minutes, you were trying to get us your counter proposal.
Mhm.
But when we work on that, what I understood was 5.4, 3, and 3. That's 5 years. That's what I understood. When I cross-checked with them, I didn't have
I
anything
probably
in
didn't say
writing.
it, my fault.
No, it's not a matter of.
I don't think it's my fault. I wrote 3, I just added a third, that's my fault.
Well, and I guess what I want to clarify is, since I'm the one working on the numbers, and you're mentioning that we're trying to confuse the public, and let me tell you, I wasn't trying to confuse it. I picked up what we had in there. Normally, when you give it, and we've done it in the past, you give it to me, and I run those numbers the way you give it to me. And we've never had issues with the numbers.
We'll
At least
we'll work on it during the. conference.
Round,
No, we can update it, and
That's
that's.
what Zoe said.
We'll fix it,
Yes.
yeah, and we'll fix it.
And
What do you want to say? Go ahead.
I'm not trying to take up your time. I mean,
no,
we-
I understand. It's just to be fair. So the thing is, when you gave us those numbers, they were numbers that you came up with. They weren't costed out. So,
No, I
so
understand. It was a counter.
that was your counter, and we get it, and we did the best we could trying to cost out your proposal. If it's less than 35, please give us the guidance
We're gonna
necessary
fix
so we
it.
can
We're
fix it.
gonna get guidance. We're
Okay,
gonna fix it.
awesome.
So, look, and just,
I just wanted to make the, okay, so.
John Eric,
We can move on.
I have a history, you guys.
We're gonna bring whatever you cost, whatever your amount is, and we're gonna put it up there, and we're gonna mention it, it's gonna be there, so.
All right, so we don't have to beat the dead horse. We can move on.
Awesome.
All right. So, and we'll fix these numbers. All right, the staffing, it's the same language from yesterday.
So that's your counter to our.
pause. How about if we get it in writing so that we can have it in writing? Let's just, so that we can always avoid in the future what they need. We'll
That's
wait for, I think we just need to start documenting back and forth.
Okay, we can do that.
Um, So this is what we're countering with the ad pace, and it's for new firefighters hired after October 1, 2023.
I think, did you emphasize on the current staff that is in there, there's no change for them on the?
Yes.
There's no change.
Yes, no change.
Did you cross out the reduction in pay to the new firefighter?
The reduction,
Yeah, with this.
yes, so the reduction, I don't know if
Compared
it's
to
on
the
this.
firefighter today till the guy hired.
No, that's not costed out.
No, it's, that is
There's,
not.
yeah, because what's gonna happen, it's not gonna happen until maybe 2 years from now that we get those cadets graduating. So we'll probably be 2 years into the contract before we start seeing some reduction in those efforts.
But we can still have a proposed number as of today's numbers, right?
And then not to
For
hold
what?
it,
As an
but,
example?
but
In
you can
terms
give
of
us a
what?
ballpark.
What we're at, right?
Yes.
Firefighter
we can do
X,
that.
Okay.
3
Go
years
to
from
the-
now, will have a reduction in pay by $12,000 a year, right? You can, okay.
Yeah, so for
Okay.
example, on the, yesterday, I think we were mentioned that like the captain, I think it was $8,000 reduction on the captain moving with a new pay scale.
Does that affect anyone
So,
now?
So it's not affecting anybody that's.
Right.
current.
so for the new firefighters coming in, they get 10%, and just using today's numbers, they make $70,000. They get 10% of that. And this is without overtime, this is without anything, so that it would be what,
7,000.
about $7,000 a year. Those guys on the ambulance would make $600 a month times 12, that's around $7,200. So they're pretty much at the same one. And that doesn't come into account of other ad pays that they could, and there's an additional third ad pay at a fixed amount. So it's not, it may be negligible, but we do need to cost it out.
Yeah, we can see it.
Well,
Yes, sir.
but when you're costing out, are you also gonna cost out the savings on the overtime and the savings on the sick leave buyback?
There's no way we can do
What do
that.
you mean?
We don't know.
Well,
how much-
because
You can give us a
massive
estimate.
savings.
We
When you-
save-
when
we
you
save
eliminate
so much per
20%
million,
incentives,
we
There's
save-
massive savings when you do that.
Yeah.
Every overtime, last year, I believe it was what, $4 or $5 million and just put.
We're getting a brand new station.
You can-
Oh,
you have to build it.
But this is not gonna, it's not gonna affect anyone now, so
Yeah.
your ad pays, your overtime is not gonna be affected, it's only for the new guys, but you still wanna see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's happening with new guys.
I want everybody to understand what we're talking about here. If I'm not mistaken, y'all budgeted $5 million last year for sick leave buyback and annual leave buyback for retirees, correct? 3, okay,
It's not,
20% of $3 million.
it's not sick
Sick-
leave, let me just correct
Go ahead.
that. It's not sick leave. We're doing the payouts for the accruals.
Okay,
It's just to come, because sick leave, I think the sick leave buyback when I'm buying.
Well, it's sick leave.
well,
Yeah.
Sick leave accrual.
sick leave and vacation.
Right,
and
so
annual leave.
we're
But-
paying out
but-
the accruals that they haven't.
But if you did buy back at the end of the year, you wouldn't include the incentives anyway with this proposal, right?
Sick leave buyback is a different.
At
At the end of the year, accruals.
We don't-
No, 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 no.
Yeah, but we don't buy,
What's your phrase? Go ahead. What's your phrasing for what we're talking about?
the accrual payout is what we're talking about.
And
That's
that's
what
the
it-
end of
Annual
the-
payouts, you will no longer be paying 20% or
Or
15%
whatever.
or any percentages.
no, we haven't, that hasn't even been discussed.
I'm saying moving forward, if this.
Yeah, right now, what we're
Proposal,
doing is doing the new amounts
Yes,
for the.
And that proposal
Mhm.
It
takes that into
eliminates.
consideration, right?
No.
Okay.
How would you, how would you do, okay,
No, and that's fine. So
We
you have a
haven't- we
slide,
haven't-
you have a slide presenting that.
I don't,
No.
not in this
Okay.
presentation.
All right, and so if you bought back every year, the 4 days or 8 days, 4 shifts,
We don't buy
This
back
is it.
every year.
that's
If
what
you
I said, if.
When you
That's what it is.
retire, when a firefighter retires.
That's what he's saying. He said, if you were to buy back. We still have that article in our contract.
Yes,
So
Yeah,
if
because
we
you know you
don't let
don't
that
buy-
article get. the decision-
hypothetical, if you bought it back,
okay.
incentives would not be included in it, right?
What had we done before when we were buying them 10 years ago? Were we including them or
Yeah,
not?
no,
Right, but now there's no percentage.
it's okay,
How
but
would
they,
you
they
include-
said they haven't considered, it, so.
But gentlemen, it's not gonna affect the current.
Yeah.
Workforce, it's not
We
gonna
understand.
affect you all.
We understand,
We understand.
we got that.
You
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
represent,
understand.
this is guys.
And then just for the record, we only bring up fire engines that are not working and fire stations for firefighters in the community safety. Under 174, we don't bargain for fire stations. You don't want to build a fire station, don't build it. You don't want to fix it, don't fix it. You don't want to buy a new fire truck, don't buy it. You can deal with administration and they can explain to you why they need it, and then you can cost out whatever they need to with them, okay? So for the record, we are not asking for any fire trucks. And we are not asking for any fire stations, okay?
For the record,
That-
we understand,
Okay,
David, but for the record, we're looking at the big picture and not just at one department. We're looking at a community,
yes,
right, and what the community needs.
right.
Right.
Okay. Well, we'll take it.
We're here for the community, right? You all
Yes.
are serving,
Yeah.
just like we are. All right, so this again, for firefighters after October 1, 2023, flat rate moving forward. And but we're adding a third ad pay for this group.
Now, are y'all coming up with any restrictions on, has to be one's like in the past, y'all had restrictions, one educational, one assignment pay, one whatever, or any ad pays, they can stack any three that they want. I just want to be clear what y'all are.
I mean, that's open for negotiation. If you think that it's more beneficial for your future members
No.
to have three.
What y'all.
We have not.
I just want to be clear.
We haven't decided that. We just wanted to incentivize. If there was going to be some form of reduction for new membership, we wanted to sort of even it out the best way we could with a third ad pay. That's all.
This is for background information here, our tax rates, looking at the comparable cities. Not that we're comparing, we're just saying that population versus taxable value, Laredo is near the bottom of this group, but we're doing the best we can, right? We want you guys to prosper.
So
do well, and work.
you lined it up from biggest to smallest, but not by the tax rate, just by the money it brings in or by the tax.
What we did is-
By
So you use the
population,
really big
by
cities.
population,
No,
it's by
David,
population.
But David, what we did here is you gave us the list, that's the same order in the list that you gave us. So,
Well,
No,
There was a text message to me?
yeah, that's my list. It's my list.
okay, that was a text message to me.
yeah.
And
My
I
list.
took the
Yeah,
text message
yeah.
based on the number of texts.
These are other cities that had ad pay.
this
That's
year.
what- that's what they got.
Right.
okay, for this,
They had, but they didn't have ad.
part of the.
My question is, what is this showing us? What are we trying to get out of
We
it?
don't make enough money there as much as San Antonio. or
Well, the
Dallas.
city does it, but.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's
That's
his
what it's
background.
showing.
That's his
Well, he's asking
background.
what it's showing, it's
Yeah.
just,
But
We're not-
everyone
we
knows
don't make the
that.
size of a Dallas. and Fort Worth.
So
Yeah, but everyone knows that.
in a previous example where you all asked us to make some comparisons based on what we do with the negotiation process in comparable cities, even using the ones that you all suggested to us, eliminating the high ones and low ones, we met you all there. You didn't like that. You said we can stay away from comparing to other cities. And in two occasions already post that comment on y'all side, you have used examples at your benefit to prove something once again.
Okay, you weren't here yesterday, sir.
Ma'am, I saw it on TV and if everything is legit on TV, then I was an observer, like the casual person out. Now, if you're saying that there are some things that are omitted from the screen that the person outside cannot see, now we have a problem.
Okay, calm down, please calm down. What we were told yesterday, the increases that were based on 5 cities that you all looked at.
All your cities, yeah.
Yes, it was, and you can go back to and so I asked,
We can go back,
Can you
here's the
give me back-
13, I wrote them down.
and I said, can you give
13
me,
cities.
okay. I heard 5, 13, whatever. I asked, can you give me those cities?
It's a big difference, man, from
What-
13 and 15.
Now, look, it's my mistake. You said 13, we found 5 from the 13
I
with ad pays, and that's.
Give me the cities.
Not
I
giving
got a
us 5.
text message,
You were
Wait,
given a
guys.
little pamphlet with at least
Okay.
10, 12 of them,
guys.
and then you guys mentioned
and no,
Corpus, Arlington, Brownsville.
David, I'd like you to see this. I got a text message. I got a text
No, that's from me.
message.
There may be
That's from me.
something.
Right, but I got a text message, because
Yeah.
I don't want, I want for you all to semi-trust us, because apparently there's no trust, right? So I asked, give me the
Ma'am,
5 cities.
You
so
had
that
the video from yesterday.
I
You could have,
I asked for the cities in writing, guys. I asked for the
Okay,
cities.
the pamphlet that we gave you, we gave you
I
a
don't have the
presentation, had
pamphlet. I
majority
asked
of
for
the.
the cities. It was text to me. I don't have that.
Why do we continuously ask from your side to our side to come with the proof and everything that the base, what we're substantiating, what we would like to accomplish? And you all take it and it's nowhere available to y'all ever, but we're expected to look at.
Give everybody, we gave everybody.
We have.
I we didn't go over it. We picked the 5 of the 13 y'all proposed.
do you-
It's always.
do you want the list of the
Can I
cities?
trust?
Can we have order? Can we have order?
Sure.
Thank you. I think we need to go back to the ground rules, guys, and maybe have only, and we commit our side to only have the lead negotiator talk. Everyone else raises their hand.
You want?
Yes?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, so now we have, okay, so. All right. Again, the comparable word, I know it's a bad word at this table and I understand. No, look,
It's okay.
I understand.
We can go through it.
So the reason why we have this comparable is not so that we can sit here and say, oh, no, we want to give you San Antonio's contract. We want to give you Corpus's contract. That's not what we're trying to do. We need a benchmark. Those cities those cities equate to market value for certain ad pays that are being paid. Okay, that's all. It's just a benchmark.
But we're
Yes,
only
sir,
using it
please.
for ad pays,
Yes, this is just for
not
ad pay,
base
sir.
pay.
No, not
Okay.
base pay,
So
sir.
we're gonna use it
Not-
for base pay.
Okay, so right now, sir,
I'm just
you're,
asking.
no, we're not using it for base pay, because, and then look, I want to
Would
clarify
it, would it
something.
be valid if we come back with a counter, including their base pay?
Absolutely, you can, but I will say this. We've. I don't want to say that this is comparable, this is just a benchmark, okay?
Yes.
Now, in terms of getting a comparable raise to some other jurisdictions, there's certain information that I would like to know. For instance, I know that you got a 5.4 average raise, right?
From 13.
From 13 cities. Okay, now the information I don't have is what was their pay before these larger raises? I want to know, was it something comparable to the City of Laredo Fire Department? That's the first question. The second question is, how many of these jurisdictions have percentage ad pays? Now, and I'm not trying to say that you're in any way misleading anyone. I'm not trying to say
I
that.
was
No,
just gonna say,
no,
you-
and
You could have looked it up.
no, we look it up, and I'm sorry. We
I'm
have
just-
the,
Because it was
no,
presented 2-3 weeks ago.
it was presented, but again, it had the percentage of raises, and we understand that we have.
Oh, our
Go ahead.
first proposal
Mhm. Yes, sir.
was a percentage less than all the cities.
Yes, sir. And it
Okay. I
equated,
just wanted
and
to
it,
put that.
it equated collectively, your package proposal with with the pension contribution
Mhm.
and your raises ended up being 15 million.
like
Now, just so you,
50, I just want to.
yeah, a little over 15 million, right? Okay, well, this proposal that we're proposing today is worth 14
Over 5 years.
So we're 5 years.
over 5 years.
And we proposed
Over-
4 years.
You were forced 4 years. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And that's why we're here. We can talk about those things, but I'm pretty sure we're getting close to where your first proposal was. Now, we can't say that it's far apart from the last one because we don't have those numbers. We haven't costed out, or we didn't cost out the correct way,
Okay.
the 5.4. So I hopefully that tempers what's going on here just for a minute. Yes, sir.
Something that
Do
you
I have
pick up,
to recognize them or is raising a hand enough?
Go ahead, Mr. Manning, please. Go ahead. Ask your question.
I had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned a lot of times about percentage ad pays.
Yes, sir.
You compare us to a lot of other cities
Yes, sir.
in our view when it's convenient.
Okay.
So what I have a problem with is
Mhm.
there's other things besides ad pays that are percentages in other cities.
Okay.
Okay?
Like, can you give me an
Longevity
example?
pay.
Longevity, okay.
So if we only look at one aspect, base salary, if we only look at one aspect, incentive pays, if we only look at one aspect of longevity pay, and we cherry pick from each contract what y'all want and what we want, well, we're always gonna be miles apart.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay. So in our first proposal, we tried to break it down as clearly and as
Mhm.
concisely as possible so that we were comparing apples to apples. And when I say that, we were taking their longevity pay and our lack of longevity pay for incentives and our percentages and their ad pays that weren't percentages and trying to put them together to where we came up with some type of cohesive understanding of way we're gonna look at this.
Yes.
What I don't understand is when you pick at those cities and you don't look at everything that makes up their pay,
Or
You-
ad pays, or ad pays.
everything that makes up their pay, their ad pays, their longevities, their seniority, all the aspects of their pay. Guaranteed raises at certain years, milestones of years, multiple step increases that,
Insurance caps.
insurance, that's another big one.
Yep.
Insurance caps and stuff, the amount that contributions to the pension, when we don't look at all of that. In its totality, we're doing an injustice to whoever's listening to this.
I understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
If I may, guys, I came in a little later, so I believe that when you presented your packet, your big emphasis was to dispel the myth that you guys are highest paid in the state, and we stipulated that. And when we bring up the comparables, I agree with you, you can't compare apples to apples, that's what we said last time, or 2 times ago. All we're trying to show, kind of like you were trying to say, you're not the highest paid, we're trying to show we're not trying to harm your guys' post, October 1, 2023. That's all we're trying to say. It's not gonna put these guys at the bottom list, and that's it. And everything else,
I'm sorry.
it's not a gray area.
So the-
For ad pace, it's, this is
When
why.
we
I'm just
change
trying
the
to
ad
say-
pace, we're not gonna put our guys at the bottom of the list.
Yes.
Sure we
That's
are.
what I'm saying. Of every,
No, sure we are.
Of every city.
Because the
Of
only
every
thing that
city.
even comes close to keeping us relevant is our incentive pays being a percentage. When you take the percentage away and you put them as stipends,
If you
of
project it
course,
10 years.
because now you're taking our low base pay and then taking their low incentive pays and combining them. Of course, it makes us go down. That's why I
it
said.
may go
cost
down.
out.
I'm just trying to say that it's not completely at the very bottom. You guys may think otherwise. And I think there's just gonna be some gray area.
The
by all
fact, the
means.
fact that the city's proposal doesn't even include all those payouts. Right? We're talking, that's still negotiable. Even if we said, okay, we'll entertain this idea, we'd still have to negotiate when a firefighter retires, are you gonna pay ad pays on it? If at the end of the year, say the
Overtime.
city decided to buy it, are you gonna include it? Overtime, are you gonna include it? So now, even if we entertain an idea like this, we still have to negotiate 3 or 4 other areas if you're gonna include ad pays or not.
And that's why we're here. I mean, and if I'm going, yes, ma'am.
Question, why would it change what we've normally done with the existing?
Because you're triggering a change to the incentives on how you pay out. It's no longer a percentage on on the dollar I earn. It's a monthly stipend.
On the new guys,
Yes,
not on the old, not.
yes, we know, but it's not only changing if I worked every day on my regular shift. Okay, yeah, you're saying, no, I really won't change it. But if I sell back at the end of my career, if I work overtime, that proposal doesn't include it. That's a monthly stipend. That says, I already paid you, so if you work extra, that's on you, and you're only getting base salary.
Question again, isn't there a definition currently where it says what the base pay and how you pay that? There's a
Let's see.
definition section.
Right here.
And
Section
it,
three.
and it
Rate
includes
of
it,
pay.
and it includes it,
Regular rate of pay.
on the regular rate of pay, it includes it,
It doesn't include, seconds.
but it's not a stipend.
That's okay, I'll read it to you right now.
Please do.
If it's a base pay, means regular rate of pay exclusive of any other category of pay.
No, there's another section that we read.
So,
You said base
so,
pay.
so, so
No,
guys,
not base pay.
if I may. If this is something, and that's why we're, and David,
Yeah,
And
I'm
that-
sorry, I was
and-
gonna look for what she-
no, and that's fine. And that's why we're here.
Look for that.
If these are things that you feel that could take you to a place where you feel comfortable
Mhm.
changing to this ad pay system, that's why we're here, bring them to the table. So, and I'll let you know right now. I mean, there's how many years of firefighter experience at this table right now?
Good experience,
So.
2-3 weeks.
So it's probably 2 decades, right? More than 2 decades, okay? So
I'm realistic.
what I'm trying to say, is that in my ignorance, all right, I didn't know that these are other issues that deal with that pace. So I appreciate this body coming at the table and bringing this information so that we can take it into consideration. But
And that's
we-
why all we're asking is
Mhm.
if this is included there. That's it, because in order to even discuss it in caucus, we'd have to know, because if not, we would just caucus with, is that included? Is it not? What are we talking about?
Okay,
That's fair.
Because
that's very fair.
it's, if you look at 500 firefighters and them retiring in the future or not overtime, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars.
And to that point, I don't want you to think that the millions and millions of dollars saved is gonna go into any of our pockets. No, it's going,
Whatever. leadership
no,
decides
but
to
it's
do.
going-
City management. They wanna give you a bonus, they can give you a bonus.
I'm saying that it goes into the department. Those
Okay.
savings go into the department in order to get the things that are necessary
Like,
for this
is that-
department to
is that
run.
the Common practice, anytime the department generates money, it goes back into the department? Is it anytime, any savings, it goes back into the department? Is that what the city currently does? I'm asking.
Has it ever done that?
Is it?
Because it always goes back to general fund.
Do we put it back into the department? I'm asking.
But then when the department needs something, money comes out of general fund,
Oh, I know, but I just saying,
No, but there's,
How many
there's, if I may.
and I'm not accusing or saying either way, all I'm asking is, does it go back? Is that the practice? I don't know. I don't
There's no-
run the city manager.
There's no clear yes and no.
Okay,
For example, the chief came with a couple of requests that need to happen for the fire department, which is not within your budget.
Mm.
And so I need to take away from somewhere else
Mhm.
to put here. And so same thing happens. It's all a balancing act at the end of the day, depending on the
So
needs
it's,
of the
it
department.
does not go straight into the department.
It
It just
could
goes to
go-
the general fund.
It,
It could.
okay,
It's
For the
available,
majority
it's
part-
available for it to come
okay,
into the
for the
department.
majority of the part, the
Okay.
fire department gets that and more because of the growth that we have.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, I brought up a question last time we were here.
yes, sir.
I asked, in the last 10 years, could you please tell me how much the fire department's budget has gone up minus contractual obligations of raises?
The operations side.
Yes, how much has the operations budget gone up in 10 years? It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, no,
We're
it is.
Throwing out increases in cost of 20% per engine and aerial truck and ambulances and,
It's online, Manny.
well,
Oh, okay.
Every single budget is online and you can see the department budget.
If I may, so every time we make a request, you want us to bring you the info and jump through hoops. But when we make a request, because this has happened multiple times,
Yeah.
it's online, you can go get it if you want, and that's why I tell you, you have 3 weeks.
the only request I had, and the reason I brought the request up was because you put up a slide that said we represented 93% of the budget.
And
So-
also to be fair, with your proposal, there wasn't a breakdown of the ad
No,
pay
but-
systems for every single city. Even though you have that information, it was not provided. You, basically what you said in your proposal, and
Yesterday, or-
no, forgive me, the last meeting, the meeting where you gave your $15 million proposal.
Mhm.
In that information was, I believe it was a bar graph of all the different,
You have it on-
yeah, you have it right here. Thank you so much. No, I have. it.
No, all
I
the
have
ad
it.
pays for those cities, we make
Yeah.
copies for you. Actually, you have it on the spreadsheet, I have it put it out for you right now.
So what I'm trying to say,
When we caucus, we'll give you a copy of all their. ad
I
pays.
appreciate that. So this is,
Percentages and all,
okay. Percentage ad pays?
of the other cities, yes.
Oh, so you're
Yeah,
saying,
all their fixed amounts and percentage ad pays. that they
oh,
have.
okay,
Yeah,
I was making sure
Okay,
there.
cities?
for all the ones we proposed,
Okay,
yes, a bunch
Wait
of
a
them
minute,
across the state.
Wait a minute,
Okay.
wait a minute. Can you put it in writing what we need, what you're asking us to see? We can
No,
do?
we're not, we're gonna give you a copy
Oh, okay.
of
I thought
ad
you were-
pays for all those cities, so you can see all their ad pays. You can see their percentage ad pays, because again,
And
we're
insurance.
the only ones with percentages. You can see dollar amounts and everything that they're offering. right? So that way you can see, and then, if I'm not mistaken, the team even explained that they didn't put on that chart maximums, they just put kind of an average if they took an associates, and we didn't go to the highest level, we went to the middle level, just so that we can kind of project more realistically that not everyone in their department is gonna have a bachelor's or anything like that. So, but we'll give it to you right now, so that way you can review it. Yeah,
so these are costs that are coming into the future for purposes of operations. In the next,
But is that
4
academy
years.
adding FTEs, or you're just replacing FTEs that haven't been filled in a while?
I think the last few would be not, it would be replacing the retirees and then adding.
The Unitech is adding FTEs.
Mhm.
Okay, but and just for the record, did we ask for the units
No,
to be added?
you
Okay, so
did
that's
not.
the city decision, okay.
Okay,
Well,
Alright, so that-
we're just mentioning some of the costs that are.
I know, I just
Yeah.
wanna be clear if,
You're asking for the.
Ms.
Unitech,
Cabello
you're
said
not
that
asking
your
for the
fire
Unitech.
trucks, right, this was a fire trucks cost, and we were asking for a station or something like that.
Well,
I wanna be clear,
No,
you're not asking for that.
in 2 meetings ago,
But,
you mentioned that we wanted personnel, staffing, we wanted fire truck, we wanted stations, we wanted raises, and all of those ones were expensive, and we never asked for those things. You brought it up, so we're just telling you, we want to be clear that we never asked for these stations, that's all.
I get it, but from our discussions back and forth, right? The community is growing. You all need the service community, have the capacity to do so and be well equipped, well trained, and
Can
then
we-
the additional FTEs will help with the pension. So we're saying these are things that would benefit the community, benefit the city and the firefighters. That's all we're
Did you
saying.
factor out projected?
Whether it's your asking.
revenues of those areas as well?
What he will have to add to general fund as an expense.
Yeah, but can you put up there also the revenues you're gonna bring in on property taxes and like all this land that's been annexed? Because you're pricing out the fire station and the firemen, you're just not telling anyone how much money you plan to bring in from that side, right?
So,
Because
David,
the city grows. All these properties, warehouses, maybe they ask for a fire station, maybe they don't, I don't know what the people living out there or working out there do. You put a fire station, you're saying you are forcing this to the budget, but yet you're not adding all that revenue, so we can
Yeah.
compare apples to apples?
So it gets really complicated in what you're asking because council is including what we call 380 agreements and TERS agreements.
Mhm.
And so what that is, just so the public can know, is that there are negotiations where the taxes that are coming in
Mhm.
are strictly going into that development. So the city is not seeing those property tax increases based on those developments.
So
So is that the?
So how can
Is
you-
it- is it what we're negotiating or is that council's conscious decision?
Council ends up
Okay.
ultimately approving, there's a TERS 1, there's a TERS 2. There is one in Wright Ranch, there is one coming up, that was approved in the north.
For the codes.
Besides the coast, and then there's another one. What's the other one? This was the one,
One downtown?
Majestic, Majestic,
So the downtown right ranch, what other ones?
Majestic,
Where's Majestic at?
Majestic is in the north, Laredo, or Unitech, Unitech.
Okay.
Achar, there's an Achar one on the west side.
Where on the west side? It was-
I don't have. the
It's just-
exact-
it's half of those already have fire station.
No,
Fire
because
truck,
no,
EMS.
it's gonna need, it's gonna
The
need
right ranch.
The right-
Proposing a new
in the
station
south.
over there.
in the south, right? Majestic, like I said, TERS 1 is downtown, TERS 2 is the coast,
Which is-
and there's 380
Something else.
agreements with, there's another one.
There's some business too, yeah.
I'm just trying to tell you that not everything that is a development is additional growth for the city.
And you know, and just so that, I mean, even, not even go there. We're not requesting the fire station, we're not requesting, all, we are requesting is what's already in the CBA. And that's why I asked if those additional FTEs are for new stations that the city and the fire administration and people way above me are making decisions on? Or is that just to replace what we should have because of the CBA,
So-
or the current fire stations that have been in operation for, when's the last one opened up, more than a decade ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not that you're requesting it. I think that this slide was more to show you that we have other obligations besides this contract.
Oh, okay.
That's the only,
Right.
that's the only purpose. And for the public to know, it's not the only reason. We have other additional obligations, period. That's it.
But doesn't the city have hundreds of other additional obligations? Why are those specifically being brought up at our contract negotiation table?
Because we're not doing a lot of the other obligations. We're stopping a lot of other things.
We're bringing it up because it's gonna add to your FTEs, which should help make the pension, healthier. That's it.
But then
It would if we keep it low.
on the turnaround, you're saying that's why, because
Yeah, we're
we're
gonna
asking
increase
for cost so much, because we're adding. Okay.
So, and just for the record, I just don't want to get, I want to get this clarified. With what was provided by the union to the city, there is a bar graph with the firefighter pay with incentives, and there is a breakdown of the different cities. But they're just numbers. It's
No,
not
no,
a, it's not a breakdown.
That's not what we're gonna provide you.
Okay.
You were asking
Oh, no,
for
no,
the
no,
cities.
We're,
No,
we're
no.
gonna get you, look, every city with the list of ad pays. so
Okay.
you can see it.
And that's all we
Percentages.
want.
No.
No, because
No,
I gave you that because you wanted.
We're not gonna say it's online, we're gonna put it out.
Yeah,
I-
we're gonna
I-
do our
I
part,
appreciate
we
that.
always do.
Yeah, we're gonna,
Yeah.
we're trying to reach an
Of course.
agreement. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what we're proposing right now.
Oh, that's the end of it?
Yeah, that is the end of it. Just so we're clear. What we're proposing in year one in base pay is a $2,200 lump sum. And then the next 4 years would be 2%. And that would equal to about $12 million in new money for the next 5 years. And for the pension, it's 1.25% over 5 years. That would be an obligation for the city for as long as it takes care of the pension, which is gonna be probably forever, $1.6 million for a grand total of $14,600,539. Your first proposal in your last contract with in your first proposal ended up to be what, 15?
Last 2 pages.
Last 2 pages, thank you. Ended up at. Last 2 pages. 15,034,500.
So what we're saying is we're at 14.6, but really it's not even a 5-year contract. It's 4 full years plus, the remainder of this year, which is like 5 months. So, we're close, and if we
Well,
can equate it, what we'll do at the break, that'll be our homework.
And this is contingent on something done about the ad pays. Again, the ad pays would not be
Oh, so we
affecting.
don't
It would not be
entertain-
affecting the current membership. It would just be for new members. And those issues that you had with regard to questions that you had with the new proposed ad pay system.
Mhm.
We would like what those questions are so that we can go in caucus and talk about them and come up with some answers for you.
So. That's only if we accept.
Well, it's a
I don't know,
package,
yeah,
yeah,
It's a package deal, but we would like to know what is the, I guess, does the union have a proposal for fixed rate ad pays for current membership, new membership, or just new membership? We would like to know, because it is an issue for the city. This is something that
We don't have one.
so not right now. Is it possible for the
Well,
union to even consider it?
This
Well,
is,
you're asking if we have one. We don't.
Oh, you have, it. okay.
this is a big move for us, and it's our package deal.
Yeah, no, it's just, you asked. No, we don't have one. Okay, so we'll caucus and we'll get those incentive breakdowns to you.
We'll try and
And,
find the information about what we asked about online, and hopefully we'll have an answer on our own.
and what else did you want from us? So we can get it? The ad pays and what else?
It was just the ad pays for the other cities.
So, I mean, we can get it right
And
now.
we'll redo these slides. So just so before you.
Same one? All right. So we're back on the record. 3:15. So after the union, I'm sorry, go ahead. After costing out based on a clarification made by the union on the length of the contract and when these amounts are gonna be pulled. It went from 35 million, which, you know, was the wrong time frame. We got the clarification now. The proposal from the union, their last proposal costed about to $23 million, 578,000 over, it looks like 3.5 years. Am I correct in that? I know you said 4-year contract, but it's
Which,
this year,
4 years, we're just not asking for back pay.
4 years and I asked, okay, thank you for the clarification.
We're
So
not
it's-
asking the retro to pay.
Yes, so it's a 4-year contract that equals a $23 million. Is that more in line with the costing that you did for these numbers?
On our counter yesterday?
Yes.
No, we didn't cost it.
Oh, okay,
We countered the awesome offer you guys gave us yesterday.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
We didn't cost it out.
And so I guess right now we're in a position, are you all having a counter to our proposal?
Yes.
Okay, so
Let's,
let's,
do you all agree, or do you all look at those
Yeah,
numbers?
that's 4 in line.
Okay.
We haven't had a chance to cost them.
I put this slide on the.
We'll get you a copy of it. Peter.
It's okay. We're about the counter. So, on the what? Yeah, so we're gonna wanna, I'm gonna say, mention the pay, we're gonna wanna bring up our slide, so that people can see it on the incentives.
sure, let me just get.
Incentives and the pay, since we're gonna talk about the other cities. Pay and incentives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just those two slides, but
Let me, is that, okay, let me just take this one off.
maybe don't let them look at all the other stuff. Cause them pictures of.
The moment you put it in, this is all in here.
Yeah.
Them pictures of you are in there, Tom.
I took those, I put it on a separate file.
Incentives, DocX?
No, it was done.
I'm on, I know I'm on. Say hi to the camera. So on the page, well, he brings that up, on pay, we are countering,
Yeah, I think so.
we are countering on the same dates. 4-year contract,
Okay,
the last 3 years were, stay the same. Good
Can
thing.
you
they-
start over? Like everything.
I don't know if I can get it exactly the same, but
I think, you know what,
a lot of high tech.
but you know what, I think,
Vocabulary words.
I think it could be better this time, is what I'm saying.
Ah,
Take two, man. Take two.
But
now the pressure's on.
Okay, 3.5.
The pressure's on now. I'm nervous.
Manning, let him finish, Mr. Manning.
Did we get the first part of the clarification on the consent person?
Oh,
Was
so
that working?
I believe it was working already when we clarified
Yeah, it's just that when
the
we
new one.
switched out.
It just when we switched it out.
When
We're
I-
good?
Yeah.
Hold
when
on.
I-
Yes.
That was a purpose.
This is,
Hey, you're for the fire department. Pulling the plug on us when we're talking.
yeah, like, with a smog machine too. Just, yeah,
They told me what that sound was. I didn't remember.
go. What were you saying, Mr.?
I'm sorry. Yes. So our, our counter on the pay. We are counting with June 1st, 2023, 3%. October 1st, 2023, 3%. October 1st, 2024, 3%. And October 1st, 2025, 3%. That's more in lines with cities on the border. South Texas are getting, have already signed 3% across the board. Some cities have gotten more, but like we said, time and time again, we're not going to chase of what some other cities getting. We know there's a lot of factors to it, but we feel the 3% across the board over 4 years is a fair proposal. On the pension side, we are proposing 2.67%, broken up over 4 years with no other language. The statute's pretty clear. There's some case law. I know the pension board has already tossed it around with their attorneys and things like that. So we feel maybe that should be brought up there. It's very restrictive for us to put those kind of rules on the pension board itself. We know that there's a money request. That's just a mechanism that's been in place for decades. So that's why. So the pension board tells us this is what's needed. So this is why 2.67.
Quick question on that. I know you're saying no change on any of the language, but what about a restriction on the actuarial review for benefits increases? It's just a question.
Okay.
So that's the language.
So that, yeah, we're fine with that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's an offer or anything. I
No,
want to know where we stand on
Yeah,
that.
we're fine with that. If you.
Okay.
With that, we're fine.
And by language, you mean
As-
no benefit
not used-
changes.
Not used
to
for
be
benefits,
yeah.
yes.
Like the money that the city would be investing,
Whatever
if
that
it were
is.
to invest, there would be no actuarial review for increase in
For
benefits.
benefits, right. Only for reduction of liabilities and things like that, yes.
So the language that you did not want is for the board members, right?
Right,
I got you.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. That was in there.
Okay.
So, no. Okay, we heard you out on the education and things like that. Add incentive pays. Or we wanted to add the education pay. I think you guys proposed 200, 400, and 600. We threw in the PhD in there, just as a disclaimer, you can write in language that the current firefighter that has a PhD would not get it, just for any future firefighter that received it, okay? Understand, on the education pay.
Okay. PhD,
Associates, $200 a month, a bachelor's, $400 a month, master's, $600 a month, PhD at $800 a month, and the only current firefighter that does possess the PhD would not receive that ad pay.
What about the Juris Doctor guy?
Dr. Gonzalez.
That guy too. It's the same thing, isn't it a PhD?
No, it's a
PhD.
PhD light. And I say it with a JD, it's a PhD light. We don't have to do a dissertation and defend it
Well,
with
the
a.
only individual that has anything close to it would be excluded from the ad pay, so that
So if Zone Win were a
for
firefighter,
perception. If Zone became a firefighter tomorrow, he would be eligible, but the current individual.
I got it. No, I appreciate it.
Have to get a second
I'll
number.
All jokes aside. Okay, so,
But you wouldn't be, that one individual we're talking about would not be excluded from all education. You just max out at master's.
yeah.
Whatever.
So I guess now a question I have is,
I just don't want it to be perceived as that I would be making requests for it.
Right.
It's just, we understood, the team talked about it, and if you want, you could exclude the entire education pay from the one individual.
and that's, and again, all jokes aside, I only said that, and I know that's why you said that. And I would appreciate that.
I'm saying it, not
Yeah.
because you said, I'm saying it because that's just, since I am the only one, Instead, I don't need a membership vote to say, I can opt out of it. I'm proposing it as far as what the team talked about, what the city proposed, okay?
And on these, so if you have, let's say you have an associate's, you have a bachelor's, you have a master's, would you be
You
collecting,
can only collect one.
collect one? That's my question. Thank you.
You are.
The highest rate.
Right.
Okay, and then PhD. Okay,
Now, which leave the incentives. On the incentives. We propose that we cap all incentives at today's rate. For everyone, just the way you guys put it up, every rank capped at whatever the incentive is, wherever they're at. So if someone promoted tomorrow, they would move up to that incentive package, right? So if, and we didn't write it out, we can write it out, we want to introduce it because we would spend a long time writing it out and then it's not accepted.
so you want to cap, so can you give me an example?
If I, as a captain, make $500 a paycheck for being a paramedic, then it's $500. But a captain at my level of 10 years, because if it's, once you get past the 3rd year, if someone gets promoted, someone moves up, it would stay at $500.
So it's the same number.
So we're, whatever the incentive number is right now, the way you guys put up on the board, it's capped at that. It would not increase anymore.
So if a firefighter promotes up to the rank
Assistant
to a
driver.
captain, he would be getting what a captain's currently getting.
So if a firefighter paramedic makes 400, an assistant driver makes 500, a driver makes 600, the captain makes 700. If David Gonzalez promotes over 20 years and he gets there, he's a paramedic, he would get the captain's 700. He wouldn't stay at the 300.
400 that a firefighter would be
But you,
getting.
you're creating, you're converting to
A dollar amount.
dollar amount, okay.
And
Y'all had it from y'all's proposal.
Yeah.
From your
A month.
proposal, y'all had it.
And you all are okay with those numbers, the ones as we proposed it?
No,
no, with the current today's doc, I'm not done with the.
Okay, thank you.
There's other
Yeah, okay.
stipulations.
Okay, yeah.
And we
But just the
ask
understanding is-
clarification, and if we don't
If
understand.
we
we'll
took a
ask again.
snapshot today.
Yeah.
What every rank, not the individual, what every rank their incentive pay was, a firefighter at, what is it, after graduation or firefighter after 36 months?
Mhm.
You have those two numbers, right? So it's $351.26. That's what the firefighter gets. If he promotes or she promotes assistant driver, they go to that snapshot, right? If they don't promote, they stay there, then they're for the career that's that.
This is for existing
For,
and new.
for everyone across the board. But the wording, we would cap all the incentives, right? Per rank or position at their current position. And we have some stipulations, and I'll start with the wording. This cap will remove and go to today's percentages if any of the following are removed or changed in the life of the contract or new contracts, right? And I know you'll get to the contract negotiations, the next contract, but if a change to that article is made, it would automatically release the cap on the incentives. So I'm gonna go over those.
Like a poison pill type deal.
Right, so that
If we change any
we're
of
gonna
these
have
articles.
stipulations to everyone to move over to a cap.
Mhm.
So if you ever decided to change the stipulations, the caps would come off.
The percentages
We would
come
go
out.
back to 10% or whatever it's at. So as long as those,
Time future contracts or this contract?
it doesn't type future contracts for the life of this contract, but the next negotiations,
Different. price.
if you open the one can, it opens the other, right? So then now you go back to the 10% if it's proposed. So it's not time in hands, anyone in the future could remove it. But with the understanding of the language that once one's removed, the other one removes it as well.
And I'm just asking, are you saying just proposing?
No,
removal?
if a decision is made,
Okay, yeah,
it would trigger,
it just be negotiated.
right,
Okay.
right. You would have to negotiate both at the same time, not just, we're gonna negotiate these, right?
Okay, sorry.
And again, it's a proposal, and I have to really write it up. About 10 minutes, it was a break.
It's pretty good.
Article. So here are the conditions. Well, this one is not, it's just, we propose this. For this, we implement Article 12 as proposed. We don't believe it has a cost factor. The contract already holds us to 407 FTEs. All we're asking is the 407 FTEs be hired. And if they're not hired within the time period that we proposed, then those accounts are paid, basically the pension and stuff like that. Only as again, it's a protection for the funding to be there, right? We see it as the city still gets a savings if they decide not to hire, because you're not paying full amount for the firefighter, you're paying the amount that's supposed to go to the pension. Does that make sense? Am I clear on that? And it's the Article 12 that we proposed
Yes.
already?
That had the
Um,
6 months for an academy.
Right.
Okay.
And mind you,
To
that's
start an academy or to start contemplation?
to start an academy.
Okay.
And the reason why is the team of deputy chiefs that were here when that article was proposed said 6 months was more than enough time. Why that has gone to more or 18 months? I don't know. That's administration or fire training or whoever is responsible for it. We were told that 6 months is more than enough time to hire an academy. So the Article 12 proposal, we propose that every firefighter, if they elect to choose family benefits plans, we would go with today's PPO plan with all its current conditions at $300 a month. We would allow firefighters to now go up to 4 incentives, removing also, we would have to go through the ad pay language, removing any limitations on it, like you have to be assigned to this one station in order to get this one incentive. Is that clear on that? Okay. We would prorate all incentives, the value of them. So pretty much if I make $1 and currently the incentive packages I have value 12.5 cents, every dollar I make, you would prorate 12.5 cents to any overtime, any sellbacks, buybacks, or anywhere in any article as we look through it that the CBA language contemplates or emphasizes that incentives would be there. Then we would cap retiree dependent insurance coverage, retiree stash dependent insurance coverage at $150 a month. Also, the department has to offer all certifications to any firefighter who wants to get them and basically cannot block or deny their education. So we heard your plea on education, experience. We agree. We just believe firefighters should be incentivized to a certain degree in order to go get that education. We believe it adds a huge amount of value for the fire department, the service we provide to the community and the community itself. We just believe that there should be some type of incentive. So currently, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's just because I was typing the one before. What was the actual language of the post on that one?
On the department has to offer all certifications, right? And it wouldn't be paid unless the firefighter does get certified and holds the certification because it won't expire. To any firefighter or employee that wants to get that certification, the department cannot deny the request. And I'm sure it's like, I want to go today on my day of work. No, you have to come on your day off. We understand that's fine. But if a firefighter wants to educate himself and the department offers the training, then he or she should be able to go get the training in order to get that incentive. Most firefighters do not hold this number of certifications. We believe it would drive them to get these certifications. And for that, we would cap the incentives from now on. New firefighters.
Mayor, I think we want to write them all down and then have you all review them so that we can make sure that what you're asking
That's fine.
is it wasn't ready. And then just give us like 10-15 copies just to do that.
To write it down, or you want us to?
She's already doing it. She's already doing it.
Or you
So
want
let us-
Any questions?
Or you want to work?
Let
with
us
it?
print them and then so that we know what you're asking, so that we can
Yeah.
customize.
So I guess my question is, are any of these stipulations negotiable in any way? For instance, on the Article 12 as proposed, maybe I know there was disagreement on the amount of time for starting an academy.
We're countering and you can make the counter,
Okay.
yeah.
I understand.
And so, we think this request, and we're not in agreement on the amounts and timeframes, I understand that, but we think this request encompasses every point that the city has mentioned and every point that we've mentioned. And I think it would be, the city wants to cap it, then we would want to see some of these things in place. And I give you the perfect example. Even if there was such a great offer that we would cap sellbacks at the end of our careers, the amount of firefighters that would leave before this thing was signed would be detrimental to the services, to the city, to the department itself. It would collapse every system that we currently know. So we can't just agree to something like that because it would, you would lose a quarter. I mean, we're short, 20 firemen right now, you would lose maybe another 100. Easy, right? Anyone at 45, 46 and up would retire tomorrow. So if that happened,
it would,
What change is that? I'm sorry. Dave.
If we cap the percentage,
For the new ones.
to
or-
set-
oh, no, yeah, so the
No,
incentive,
we're
the
doing this across
incentives,
the board.
we kept the incentives. And it wasn't allowed, that's why we're asking just for it to be prorated. It won't increase in the future as far as the incentives goes. The percentage, right, that it won't compound. But if we capped it and we didn't allow a 52-year-old fireman right now with a certain accruals, and we were gonna take away his incentive
Oh, I got you.
of the sellback,
I understand. The
Everyone-
Existing people, no
Right.
cash, so they can retire and
right,
be able to take. okay.
because if not, they would,
No, I got.
they would run
That's
for
what
the
the
door right now,
should, we have to prorate it.
Gotcha.
because if we,
I think I understand.
yeah, if we kept the.
I just have a quick question. You said that there's no restrictions on, the ad days, but what about our proposal about, on the truck versus off the truck? Is that?
Oh, no, what I'm saying is,
Based on
if,
location.
no, what do you mean on the truck?
Yes.
Saying like if he's a paramedic on the ambulance.
Yeah,
versus
on the
not
ambulance
on
versus
the-
ambulance, yeah.
So now,
It's a paramedic, it's a paramedic.
paramedic is a
But you want-
paramedic.
you want
Yeah,
one
same.
flat,
Right.
gotcha.
But we're not saying that we're not proposing to take away what the paramedic on the ambulance, that rotation pay, right? So they get, what is it, $25 a paycheck plus $5 if they're on. We're not proposing to take that away. If they ride the ambulance, they get that extra. And that doesn't count as another incentive. That's just become.
As far as
because
the ad pay, it's the same.
Right.
whether You're on the ambulance or not.
We all know-
Right, except if you're on the ambulance, you
You
get that little bit extra.
So that's the difference.
We all know that whether you're on the ambulance or on the fire truck, our services don't stop. We don't get there and say, I'm on the fire truck today, I'm not being paid. We act all the time. There's no reason. not to
We're
pay.
not, these departments that are split, private and public. It's if the ambulance is unavailable because there's that number of calls, the fire engine rolls out, the fire engine rolls out and it has meds, IVs. So you're utilizing the paramedics, major accidents, cardiac arrest. There's not only 2 paramedics there, you have 4 or 5 paramedics working the cardiac arrest. And the reason why is because everyone's a paramedic. Now for the day-to-day, I cut my finger, nosebleed, yeah, the paramedics on the fire truck really don't roll out to that. But in occasions, they do roll out because we do not have enough ambulance to handle the call volume, right?
And that's increasing with the amount of time we're sitting at the hospital because of backups at the hospital. So our ambulances it's happening more and more where our fire trucks are having to roll out.
And that's the reason for everyone that joins this department should be a paramedic, because we understand we just don't have enough personnel or medics.
Yeah, I just clarify.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but just for the differentiate, those ad pays or that rotation pay is not being proposed removed.
Do you want to work with the ambulance, make sure the language is
Wow.
correct?
That's problem.
Yeah, let's take a break. Yeah.
That's fine. Going off the record, so 3:35,
Should be back in 10 minutes.
be back in 10-15 minutes. All right, we're back on the record. It's almost 4:30. That we were the last thing that happened was the union gave a proposal on the ad pay or Article 16 with stipulations, and I think they're gonna be read into the record by Mr. David Gonzalez.
Yes,
Thank you. Please,
everything, right?
yes, sir.
So for pay raises, we are proposing June 1st, 2023, a 3% pay increase across the board. On October 1st, 2023, we're proposing a 3% pay increase across the board. On October 1st, 2024, we are proposing a 3% pay increase across the board. October 1st, 2025, we're proposing a 3% pay increase across the board. It would be a 4-year contract. That would, the new contract would commence, we're anticipating hopefully June 1st. But we are not asking for any back pay on the pay raise. As far as the pension contribution, we are proposing a 2.67% increase on the city's part for the life of the agreement. We're not asking for any back pay on any contribution. At 0% on October 1st, 2020. As the city's discussed certain issues or pay or any amounts, we understand, so we're asking at the front end to lower it On October first, 2024, it is a 1% pay increase. October first, 2025 would be a 1% pay increase. In total, it would be a 2.67% pay increase. We are not, or basically, we're not going with any of the wording the city proposed. Towards any benefit increases for the pension or any retiree or retirement system. It is solely to help the health of the fund. We are in agreement. We use the city's proposed language and are proposing that education pay would pretty much eradicate or remove any type of education pay mentioned in the contract right now, but we would move forward as that. An associate's degree that would be paid at $200 a month. A bachelor's degree would be $400 a month, a master's degree at $600 a month, and a PhD or its little brother, JD. Proposing that as a lead negotiator, I would not be eligible for that, but anyone else in the future would, they can.
Well, with that, man, I ask, in all seriousness, like PhD, you mean like a terminal degree, like the highest level, like a doctorate or
yes.
something? Is there such a thing as an LLM for master?
Wherever you want to put it, I'm not asking to get to get it as an MP, so.
No, I'll
It's
clarify
open
that.
to whatever the city wants on that. It lines up with what we, yeah. So number 5, we have your, whatever the incentive is. So we heard the city. An agreement, we do have language that would be conditional as to the flat rate. And then we do have certain stipulations as far as payouts and overtime that need to take place. Large groups of firefighters retiring because it would be catastrophic to the system as well. So would stay in line with the rank as a flat rate what they are. So if you're under 36-month firefighter, your paramedic pay is worth this. That would be the dollar amount. Once you reach 36 months, whatever the flat rate is at that rate, it would be that. If the firefighter gets promoted to and up and down the chain of command as we go. We are proposing that in order for that to take place, there's conditional language that in future negotiations, it would cause the flat rate of those incentive pays to be removed, and those rates would revert back to the percentages that are equal as today, April 21st, 2023.
So if you change something.
Of this, and it would cause those incentives to go back to their 10%. So if it's negotiated, it's open to them, as long as the contract where language will say, if you're about to remove this cap is automatically going to be removed, and you're gonna have, pretty much you're gonna have the.
You're saying that the JAD pays, going back to percent of JAD pays, that could be negotiated as long as everything's negotiated together.
Right,
Okay.
right. Or we're going. The team, whoever's representing says, you know, we're fine staying at a flat rate, but we understand we need to move these things. That's what they decide, and membership votes on it, and we can't tie their hands. What it would do though is, say, insurances. It's there, this is the rate, so it's just reinforcing language.
So it's like a unilateral move, like if the city does something on its own,
It would trigger.
it should-
Right.
but if the union agrees to it, then it's just by
Right.
agreement.
Now, if the union agrees to it, they would have to go through opening the contract negotiations. You'd there. Not that it would maybe reinforce anything further than what the contract language would automatically, assign. But we do want for future generations to be able to.
Is it consistent with what you're saying, possibly that any changes outside of a collective bargaining agreement would trigger?
No, that's fine, that's, we're going through it. Again, about 15 minutes to discuss it with the team, so.
No problem.
We just want to be clear on. We're okay with the cap, but we're
Don't mess with it. Yeah.
capping with these other things, right? It's one and one the same. So it's not, so Article 12, we proposed an Article 12. As proposed, we would like,
Were you gonna go with the items you're gonna list for 6, David? Were you gonna name them out?
yeah, these are the ones coming, everything.
Stipulation, were you gonna read anything else to add to it, or?
Right, yes,
Gotcha,
it's just,
okay. Perfect.
so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13
Are the
are
stipulations.
stipulations.
Gotcha.
So Article 12 as proposed, which includes the 407 FTEs hired. It does have a. They're not hired, or the city will pay their pension contributions, and the cities. We were discussing earlier, it's still. $100 million worth or $10 million worth of firefighters. You'd pay the 30.01, or if whatever approves 32% instead of the 100%, so you're still saving 2/3 of the amount of the cost, right? We would like to see today's PPO plan to stay in,
Question,
yes,
at how many, 407?
at 407, but whatever is approved. Now, the Article 12 does include language that if a new unit is added, that 407 will add those FTEs. We are not asking the city to add, or that would be solely on the city's discretion. Proposal. The city does not have to add, it's just if and only the city does add, it would add at this rate. And then that 407 will be reflected to the new number, depending on what unit is added, right?
And I think right now the current contract, I think stipulates.
Right, so we have the Article 12, and then if you don't have it, we'll print it out. And we can give you. Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that portion of that section still stipulates, I think it says
6
10
months.
vacancies.
And it's just, in the 6-month leeway was discussed in previous contracts. Fire administration was more than comfortable with the 6 months. That's what we feel that whatever is not happening right now, we don't know what it is, but
Stick to the training, Mayor,
No,
because the training chief doesn't know what happens behind the scenes.
well,
There's other stuff. I
the
just want to
training
clarify.
deputy chief,
Yeah, he doesn't,
Chris Hughes is
he
branded.
does not know what's happening with administration and all the budgeting that we need to do and try to plan for.
Okay.
He knows that it takes him 6 months. He does not know that it takes city man.
The counter and hopefully you'll give us the reasoning behind it. And
Yeah.
I just did,
yeah,
I just did.
I hear you.
okay. So you, I guess,
Okay.
put the
Because of
counter
bu-
in later.
Because, because of budgeting. No, I just.
Yes.
did,
Yeah.
because of
Okay.
Budgeting.
No, and I understand, and it's just currently was at 6 months, and if the city, for whatever reason, wants to propose 9, 12, whatever it may be,
You'll take it back. I get
right, we'll look at it. For family benefit or benefits coverage, for the active firefighter would be today's plan with today's, benefits, rates, anything in there. And that would be at a charge of $300 a month. would still stay with the firefighter pays, what is it, zero cost?
Yes.
And that's for the individual firefighter, right?
Yeah.
We would move to, instead of 2 ad pays, we would increase that to 4 ad pays. And we would go to that with this station, or you have to work on this day in order to get this. If the firefighter gets the certification, the ad pay will
Like
be
the
good.
assignment pays that are require the
Right.
assignment to hazmat and all this. So
Yes.
if you have the certification.
If you have the
get
certification
the pay.
and you,
Within each one of the categories, education.
no, there is no categories. We're not proposing any.
No, no categories.
It's if you have 4 certifications, so we were listening to the city is big on education. We are as well. We want, we were joking around earlier with experience. We want. There's a limit to the cost, but we believe they should get some incentive. Most of the ad pays are at a low rate. That's at $190 a month. We're not proposing any increases. But we are saying that if a firefighter.
And my only clarification there was like, for example, I look at it and it's like we have the education. Example, the certifications, you have 3, you only get 1 in the certification.
right.
Education, you have
Associate
4, you only
factor.
get. Any of the other certifications that you have that are now considered like assignment based.
Right. And so longevity is not included as
No,
one.
like you-
The other issue is the firefighter gets to pick which one, so as really like in the education. If for whatever reason they want to take the associates rate, I'm not saying they would, but if
like,
child support, they will, it's up left to their. Yeah, we just wanted, it'll be their choice. We will also prorate all incentives in accordance with. Have time to go through the entire contract to see where it is reflected. Benefit to the city is it will be capped, the percentages won't compound, so. For overtime, then that dollar will reflect 11.2 cents. Future raises, if we do sign an agreement with raises, percentage raises in it. I think that's what the city was asking for, so we just wanted to see are there certain things with it. We would cap the retiree and the retiree. Retirees currently pay $160. Now, this does not remove the current amount that the firefighter is paying. The firefighter is paying, I don't know if I have the exact amount, but this would be.
If I may ask the question. It's a dependent. And the active firefighters.
Right.
So we cap this, does the difference go back now to the active firefighter?
No.
The city would have to now pick it up, so that. You guys now we're taking part of that liability or their
Yes,
responsibility.
that is the proposal.
Understood.
Yes. When it comes to the certification and incentives pays. Offer or hold the offers open, and any firefighter requesting. To be able to get the certification. Request, I mean, unless if it's some legal matter, or they just, for some reason just can't, but. The. Yes, or the fact was just, right, any prejudice or anything like that. Now, we understand that they may have operational. If you want it, you can come on your day off.
Can you give us an example of that? I'm a little confused on that one.
But I want to get my hazmat certification because I've always wanted to learn hazmat. I'm gonna allow you to get a rescue certification. The department can choose that you will not be on the rescue. Make himself or her better, then if the fire department offers the trainings, that he or she may engage.
I
in the
guess where I'm confused is. Department to give them the training for
So
that,
we
or
would,
is it that the fire department said? And you're interested?
well, with,
No.
I mean,
Or are you saying, well, because I'm. So, if I say I have a training session of 30 people, can I say that, or when I open it is whoever wants
no,
to take?
the department, what I'm saying is that hazmat certifications and hazmat trainings. Hey, the department says we have these trainings every year, sign up, and if you don't sign up, well. But we don't want to limit firefighters either. We heard the city's concern about education, training. We are in full agreement. Blocks placed in front of certain firefighters for whatever reason whatsoever. If the training is available, especially if the slots are. In a Senate pay, and so be it.
But when the slots are full, you can wait till next time.
Right. Now, the other thing is also, if the department says, hey, we don't have enough slots, but. And by all means, take the class.
We're taking the class outside of the department.
Right.
I have a question, so if they want to take that class, would that firefighter be compensated?
No, so we're not proposing that if they, way say, hey, I really need to make hazmat techs because all of them retire. Or we anticipate the entire station retiring for whatever. On Saturday, if you're working, I'm gonna pay overtime. That would be an administrative decision, and we're not trying to limit the. And you only have 2 individuals taking it, but you have 10 other firefighters that would like to engage in it. We don't see.
The department.
Exactly.
These are state class, hazmat certification, state class,
Right, and we can work on the language. Again, we had about 20 minutes to put it together.
It's difficult because I'm gonna say how many.
Put zero.
Give to all of them?
Just
No.
put zero.
No, and so the issue is, and this is what I foresee happening is. Every 2 quarters, right, or once a year, and sign up to get it. Some firefighters. Right, so you may see some people move towards it, but the idea. Look, there's firefighters that just love rescue, right? Or they have a calling for hazmat and they want to be hazmat techs. They get the certification. The way things are, we have some teams or some stations that are rescued and. Move to those stations if the fire chief allows it, right? And we're not trying to tie the fire chief's hands in any way. But what we would like to see is every firefighter does hold 3 or 4. For the fire chief to conduct operations.
And then cross manning
10 better.
all over the city without.
If you hire overtime, if you have to move people to stations, now you have certifications without your continuing education. So the more certifications a firefighter holds, the more continuing education she has to conduct or to perform, which keeps that constant flow of what. All we're saying is, this is why we're not even introducing language to increase the ad base. something to incentivize them or to give them an incentive for holding that certification.
Some of these classes also.
If you go back to what the department's, instructors as a department and say, go out there and give a class. And generating revenue for the department or the training. Not in our budget, but it would say we would. What is a firefighter gonna get out of it? He's gonna be certified and trained. City, this is the proposal we're getting. And the department has to hold and offer the classes if available. And then other ad pays, or all the other ad pays will be moved to fixed. Intermediate, advanced and master. Those percentage would be convert to 6, 8, and 10 to that dollar amount. Mind you, it would coincide with the rank of the firefighter, right? And then it would. Rate arson instructor, hazmat rescue team ARP is already at 190. We're proposing it stays at 190. But we're not limiting the combination. EMT paramedic is right after graduation, 10%. And if they don't, they're gonna have to work towards that in their careers. So the city still has a savings, is right out of the gates. Firefighters graduate. You can't get the. Until 8 years, and you can get the master's until 12 years. So that dollar amount will stay there as a flat rate, and it takes 12 years to even max out anyway. Most firefighters' careers are about 25 to 27 years. Master level firefighting. That is our proposal. Is there any questions?
No, not now. Need to cross this out
Yeah.
before the next meeting.
Yeah. I think we need I think we're gonna. We're gonna have to cost out this proposal, the potential savings. We're also gonna have to cost out a potential counter that. The man Jesus and myself and I.
So what if we don't budget?
The team.
Plus some information for the last.
It's the
Yeah.
timeline.
Absolutely. So,
Sorry.
yeah, we're just, so I'm thinking maybe in a few weeks.
Sure.
Mr.
That's
2 weeks,
3
probably,
weeks.
2-3 weeks.
Today
How
is
long do
T
you
shift,
think?
right?
It's a lot of work, I know.
We can do May 12th if you're okay with that. That is 3 weeks out.
May 12th.
I think I guess just. Second week in May,
Which,
We can
budget
do-
workshop with the departments.
We can do Saturdays, Sundays, evenings. I work Saturdays, Sundays at the fire station all the time.
Holidays,
By choice.
anniversaries.
Yeah, it's all by choice.
May 12th for a tentative date?
Or you want to shoot dates over later?
Yeah.
How much I need to probably work with Linda, I need to probably work with the chief concerning of the items.
Mhm.
So we do hit the 60th day at May 15th.
We're working towards it.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for your efforts.
All right.
Okay.
So we adjourn?
Yes.
All right.